on recorders today. Which class is this? ACI 5, class 5. Do you want to start us?
Yeah.
And would you be able to sing a little louder? Because we need a voice that carries us, because we're not doing really great with ours. I'm not a good singer, so unfortunately I don't have that gift. But you are. No. Churan soki choknama janchu pardu dakni kapsuchi naki jinyin gibe sunamki drola panchir sange chupasho sange churan soki choknama janchu pardu dakni kapsuchi naki jinyin gibe sunamki Drola Panchir Sange Drupasho Sange Churam Soki Choknamba Janchu Padu Dakni Kapsuchi Laki Jinyin Gipe Sunamki Drola Panchir Sange Drupasho. Just keep your eyes closed for a moment. Just so we can settle in into being here. Feeling ourselves center. Letting everything else go from the week, from this morning. Allowing us to be able to focus on this class, being present, feeling open. Feeling ready to receive these precious teachings. So we've been talking about karma for a few weeks now. You know what it is and how it's working. Last week we were talking about remember the results of 10 non-virtues and what it will result in the various ways. I'm talking about what makes a karma more powerful, makes a deed more strong. Geshe Michael says that he studied the Abhidharma for 13, 15 years, and he never learned anything about how karma is carried, where it stays, and this was something he was hoping to find out. And then one day he attended a class of a different school, and this is the middle way. The class was about Uma Gongpa Rapsel. Right there, Uma Gongpa Rapsel. So this is the middle way. So today we are leaving the Abhidharma Kosha and we are going into a different school today, so we can have a good teaching on how karma is carried. Uma means middle way. You know Uma Thurman, right? The actress. She's named because her dad, Robert Thurman, he's a Buddhist scholar, right? He's a very famous teacher. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, he's really famous. And his favorite topic is the middle way, so he named his daughter Uma.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I recently saw a little video with him, Sharon Salzberg, who is also a famous writer, and she's a meditation teacher who teaches all over the world. Famous lady. They were having a discussion together, and then Uma Thurman was there, and she was narrating the whole thing. So she was guiding them this whole discussion. It was pretty cool to see her with her dad.
What's it on? Is it on?
I think I saw it on YouTube or something.
Did you send a link? Yeah, no, don't worry. Just Google Uma Thurman and Robert Thurman.
Yeah, you might be able to find it. I may have seen it on Facebook or something, because Robert Thurman's my friend on Facebook. Maybe that's where it came out. I don't know. I don't know where I saw it. Anyways, I thought it was neat to see her in a different. I only know her from Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, those kind of movies. So it was kind of neat to see her in a different role. It was cute. Anyway, so that's Uma. Gongpa means real intent. So what did they really have in mind? Real reason, purpose of someone's action. And Rapsel means clarification. So this translates to the total elimination of the real intent of the middle way.
What does Rapsel mean again?
Rapsel's total clarification. So this is a book, right? This is a scripture, the name, the title of what we're studying today.
Illumination or elimination?
Illuminate.
Thanks for clarifying.
And this was by Jason Kappa. And who can tell me his dates?
1357 to 1419.
Ooh, very good. Yeah, that's great. That's like the only dates I can remember of all the people, because 1357, it's all uneven numbers. Hey, Carol! Like 1357, so I can always remember that one. Mm. So he wrote this book, and this is from the point of view of the highest of the four schools, which is Madhyamika Prasangika. So all the highest teachings, the Lamrim, and the secret teachings are all based on this viewpoint. Okay. So the Madhyamika Prasangika practitioners, they are having a fight or a debate with the mind-only school in this topic that we're discussing today. Okay. So we're going to examine that, and it's about the topic of where karma stays.
Where karma stays?
Mm-hmm. And you'll find out why the mind-only school is called the mind-only school.
They're having a fight with the lowest.
With the mind-only school, yeah. Now, the presentation that the mind-only school offers on where karma stays is actually very close to how it really is, according to Madhyamika Prasangika. It's just the small little details are different, so we'll go over that. So it's very useful to hear this presentation, and then we'll get into the slight difference between the two schools. And it was said that Jason Kappa took these teachings directly, wrote them down from the Buddha. Okay, so we got Carol comfortable.
Hi.
So nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Oh, I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, we missed you.
So I missed you more. How's that? Okay.
Are you good?
Yes,
Do you need
thanks.
anything else?
Oh,
Do you need a drink? Or you good?
you.
Okay. All right, so here we go. So what happens? Somebody, you do a karma, you yell at somebody. Then the result comes back as somebody yelling at you, right? So it's very important to understand what is going on at that moment. We're in class 5. So there are here I'm going to draw for you. Oh.
I thought he said thank you. And I think he did.
That could be the example of someone
Yes.
yelling at someone, right?
That's what we'll do. Yeah. Yeah, you never know, you know.
Funny story, I used to work with a little boy who couldn't say, who used to
Oh.
say thank you, but he couldn't say th, so he'd say fuck.
Oh.
So he'd go around saying fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to everybody, but what he was saying was thank you, but he couldn't say the th. It's really cute. It's really
Okay, so here is the guy yelling. He's yelling. He's angry. Okay. This is use. That's your eye. Okay. And I don't really know how that works, but you have cones and rods and things, nerve endings, I guess, behind your eye that transmit the information to your brain. That's your brain. Okay? So, So your brain, your consciousness of the eye, it's transmitted to your brain. The guy has a red face, he's yelling. You see that with your eye, cones and rods and things, and that transmits to your eye consciousness, your brain, okay? And that tells you, oh, there's someone out there with a red face. So you're looking at the red face, colors and shapes. It's sensed by your eye faculty. Based on that, your consciousness grows. You're aware, okay? You're aware of the red face. So we call this Mickey Namshe. Say Mickey Namshe. Eye consciousness. Mickey Wangpo. Eye faculty. This is physical, right? Physical. And then Yo is the object, the angry man.
What is the mind?
This?
Yeah.
Mickey Namshe.
What is that?
This is a brain.
Okay, that's just the brain.
Yeah.
Just
consciousness. In the school. Okay. Okay, so how does this work? We have to, mind only says that there is a thing called the kunshi. The kunshi is a storehouse consciousness for all the seeds, which are called bakchaks. Okay, so these little guys are all the bakchaks. Okay? The bakchaks are sitting in the kunshi. And the reason why they're sitting in the kunshi, when you yell at somebody and you're done your yelling, it's transferred, the energy is transferred into the kunshi. It's staining the kunshi, okay? So a seed has been planted. You could say a seed has been planted into your storehouse consciousness as a result of you yelling at someone. So then when that is going to ripen, it's going to ripen into somebody yelling at you, okay? It grows out of this big consciousness pool. So when the time comes, one of these seeds creates the eye faculty and the eye consciousness. And then as an extension of that, creates what it sees.
So that comes first. The eye consciousness and the eye faculty, it comes first, and then you see the projection.
Yeah,
of
you
the seed.
first have an awareness of your eye looking at something. Yeah. So they don't say that one seed creates 3 things, even though we see 3 things here. It actually says it creates 2 things plus an extension of the eye faculty. So 2 plus extension. That's how they present it here anyways. I don't know if it's a problem if you would say there's 3. We'll stick to what they have presented. So a bakchak. A bakchak is a seed, right? So a seed is the example that Geshe Michael-Roach gives is like how do you say the word I'm looking for? A mental habit. It's not a physical thing. So the example that he gives is that his teacher, Ken Rinpoche, was in the United States, and they had to wait for 5 years to get his green card. And every day they were waiting for this yellow car that was supposed to bring the green card. And every day they would look at the window at a certain time. And then one day the yellow car came, and he got his green card. Everyone's happy. But then the next morning they're still going out to see the car, right? The yellow car, because they have a seed, they have a mental habit for yellow car. And we do that all the time. I mean, I'm trying to think of examples, I'm thinking of these doggies that are staying at my house. Every morning they jump on my face. The one that I have right now, poodle, just literally jumps on my face. So happy to see me in the morning, licks and paws in my face. So when I wake up, like, that's my buck check, right? I'm just expecting when am I going to be attacked? Any second now. And then when the dog will go home and there's no dog, I'll still have that feeling. I'll still I'm waiting. Oh, okay, no, there's no dog anymore, right? So it's a mental habit that you have. Okay. So according to all Buddhist schools, there are 6 consciousnesses. Which ones are those? Spoken about them before. And this is one of them, the I, right? What else would there be?
Would that be the senses? All senses. So that would be auditory, visual, oral, tactile.
Yeah.
The third eye, the intuitive.
Not listed, no.
Oh, that's something else.
Well,
Olfactory and then
The
thinking.
right.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I guess.
Is it not
part
so
of
it's
it?
thinking, not intuitive? Okay.
Yeah, it's the mind in general thinking. Yeah. Is that all? Yeah, I think so. So in the mind only school, they say there's 2 more, and one of them is this, which is what? Yeah. Kunchi.
The house of seeds.
Yeah.
Is this all mind only? Everything you're explaining?
This is mind only. Yeah.
Okay.
So one of them's that, and then there's another one.
Yeah, the other one they don't really go into in this class. It's being mentioned, but I don't think it's a focus. But you're allowed to know. It's the it's the klesha consciousness, bad thought consciousness, bad thought consciousness. Yeah, which makes the seeds worse because it's steeped in ignorance.
Why?
Why?
Why is it not part of this?
Why is the bad thoughts not part of?
Why do we not talk about that?
I'm just not in this class. It's not the focus of this class. But if you want to learn more about this whole school, ACI 15 is full of it. So if you want to know more details about all their things, you can take that course. So I'm just going to stick to what I'm supposed to present today. Okay, so why did Mind Only come up with this idea? They say, well, you have to have a place for the seeds to stay. They can't just, where do they go? So this is what they say. This is where they go. And the higher school, Madhyamika Prasangika, says, okay, we can accept that there is a separate place for the seeds to stay, but we don't accept that it's another consciousness. Okay. We'll go into that a little bit later.
You said there were 2. There's the storehouse consciousness, 2 extras.
Yeah.
For the 6.
And then the other one was the bad thoughts, the klesha consciousness.
And the clay, sorry.
Yeah. It was not part of this class. Okay. So here it gets tricky. Basically,
Just checking if the window is open.
so the buckchuck is creating the physical eye receptors, right? The buckchuck produces a mental event and it looks like your eye, and you interpret it as the physical faculty of the eye. So this is the kunshi producing this image that you think is your eye.
Is Kunchi Foundation conscious?
So what they're saying is there is no I. There is no I. What you perceive as your I is an emanation of your kunshi. There is no angry man as an extension. In fact, there's nothing out there. Because if there's no I and there's no angry man, then that means nothing else is out there either. Nothing is out there. All you're looking at is your own mind. You are yelling at somebody, it makes an imprint into your storehouse foundation. This mirrors into now someone yelling at you that you perceive to be out there yelling at you, but in fact, it was just an imprint coming back. So they're saying everything you see is mine. Everything you look at is your own mind. That's pretty crazy, hey?
Could I say that everything I see is interpretation of a phenomenon?
We're not going there right now. Right now, we are talking mind-only school. So you can see at the end of the class if your question got answered when we move schools. Right now, I want you to try to grasp that idea of everything is mind. Everything you're looking at is just an emanation of your previous deeds and thoughts. So there's no Amanda out here. There's no Tuan, no Tunji, no Nina, no Carol. Nobody's out there. Everything you're looking at is your own.
No materialistic.
Nothing physical out there. Nothing exists out there. Things do exist. Yeah, I can see Amanda. She's real for me. But in this school, we say she is a product of my mind. I have created her. Everything I see about her is a reflection of me. An emanation of my mind. I see Amanda. Yeah. Amanda's not out there. Yeah.
Is this the highest teaching, or is there something?
No.
There's another.
It's not, but this is really close. This is really close.
So later, if we take more courses, then we'll have an even better grasp of
In
what
this
it is?
class, we'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah. But this will get you very, very far if you could try to grasp this, right?
Well, it makes actual sense if we look at it from when we studied mind.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, for me, I can connect. It connects because mind is just like when you taught the class, we spoke about mind where does it come from?
Mm-hmm.
There is no there's no beginning, there's no end. It just is continual.
Mm-hmm.
So if I look at it from that perspective, it makes sense that everything else is just an illusion and actual reality is no reality. It's the consciousness, it's the mind creating that reality through this kunchi.
Yeah.
And all those thoughts which were in our mind are like little seeds,
Mm-hmm.
which are harvesting into more learning or more higher levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anytime you think that you see something outside of yourself, it's just you seeing your own mind like that. It's your own consciousness. So, according to mind only, you are really looking at the foundation consciousness, appearing as the physical faculty of the eyes and all the outer forms you think you are seeing. Okay? This is quite profound, right?
It is when you have to try to live in a reality of this world daily.
Yeah.
Like I can't go to the grocery store and just say, oh, I don't have money to pay for my groceries. Just how do I put this in words? I don't think I'm thinking it through. Sorry.
Mm.
Um,
So it doesn't mean that nothing matters, right? It doesn't mean that. It just means that things are working differently than you thought they were. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay for your groceries or, that it's okay to lie or because it's not out there. No, no, no. It's because it's working like this that it's actually possible to create a new reality.
Everything's a projection of my mind.
We're not really going there yet. Projection. We're not quite there yet.
If I'm looking at my mind when I'm looking at all of your functioning, yes. But okay, so when this movie comes to an end, where are you then? Like, is your movie running parallel to mine? Like, you're seeing me, I'm seeing you, but you're part of my movie. So if my movie comes to an end and I die, what happens to you? As far as my movie is concerned, you come to an end when my life comes to an end.
Mm-hmm. But my movie's different than yours, right?
So there's all these different movies all going on intersecting.
You could see it as long spaghetti noodles never touch each other. We're all like long spaghetti noodles. We never touch.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. There's a movie, and I don't know the name of it. If anyone, it's where an event happens to a couple, or it happens, and then that person connects with someone completely different, and say they lost someone through death, and then they go, or someone goes to the hospital, and then they go to the hospital and they connect with their friend who actually murdered their cousin, and this person is the doctor who helps save their wife who was put in the hospital. It's a link. I don't know the name of the movie, but it's a link of connections of different souls and different situations. Even though I don't remember the name of it, and I'm not saying it clearly. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
So everybody has different perception, right? Everybody is experiencing different things because everyone's storehouse consciousness is different, right? You're planting different seeds into this that ripen in a different way. What what they're saying, the emptiness for the mind only school. So what is the emptiness for the mind only school? They're empty of being caused by separate things, the perceiver and the perceived thing. So perceiver, the perceived thing, they're all coming from the same seed. So it's not separate. This is what they're stressing in this school. The mind sees the angry boss. Sorry, the mind that sees the angry boss and the angry boss all grow from the same seed.
So the mind that sees the angry boss in that second and the angry boss in that second all are popping out of one
Yeah.
seed, one back chapter.
Yeah, in this school.
So the mind that sees the angry boss.
Yeah, and the angry boss itself, they come from the same seed in your mind.
What about the formation of the angry boss? How does it explain? Like that seed in that moment is that angry boss, but what about, is that connected to like the angry boss from the baby growing up into the angry boss?
From the baby?
Like that angry boss grew up from a little kid, from a baby. That seed did not push that. Is that related to that? Like in this moment, I have a seed, and I see Mariska. In this moment, that seed is projecting or creating you. But what about your past? All those other things. My seed is that seed's not connected to that, right?
The way you see me is doesn't mean that that was my experience, right? The fact that you see an angry boss doesn't mean that someone else sees an angry boss, right? It that's your happens because you have this in your storehouse consciousness, that seed that's creating this. Doesn't mean anything about the person, you know? I mean, I could be in the same room and I could have a completely different seed go off and thinking, you know, that guy, he's really making a good point with one. You know, I might not perceive him at all as the way you perceive him, right? Depending on the seeds. We could have similar karma. We could have collective karma. We are having collective karma right now.
We sure are.
You know, we're all here and we're all planting certain seeds to have a similar kind of future in the sense of attending more classes like this or getting a deeper understanding like that, right? We have a collective karma. Still, we have all our own stuff going off that is very, I mean, one of you might fall asleep during this class and not think it's interesting at all. Another person might be all fired up, right? One person might be really annoyed with the person outside. The other,
That's me.
I know you are.
Aww,
The other person
struggling.
might not. Do you want to sit on that side?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
better
Yeah,
over here.
come on.
It's not probably, yeah, the sound
It is.
probably
It
is
is.
better.
Welcome it as soon as you welcome him. He'll be quiet. Thing is, if I sit that side, I've got a squiffy eye, and it can cause me a headache because I'm going to be looking at you from that side, and then it's
Come here.
Here,
Do you
come
want
here.
me to move? I can move.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So yeah, so everyone has different stuff going off, right? Some of us are not bothered by the man outside. Some of us, you know, like that.
Can I ask another?
Yeah,
Sorry to
You don't have to,
a little.
and you don't have to answer. It's
Okay.
inappropriate. But I am okay. Fine. Thinking my mind, of course. Okay, so materialism, right? My physical faculties sense state that there is a state physical reality according to my senses. That means that according to this, that my mind is creating the physical faculties. It is those physical factories are generated by my foundation
Mhm.
consciousness in order to perceive material world in terms of touch and
Yeah.
smell, right? Makes sense. So okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I mean,
It kind of changes from moment to moment, right? Depending on what seeds are going off for you. Yeah. But yeah. You are creating your world by everything that we've talked about this, everything you say, everything you think, and everything you do. Those are the ways that you do a karma. Those are the ways that planting that seed here. So, I can just be totally fine, and all of a sudden I can have this massive headache thing going on, and then it passes within 10 seconds, Like that can be a result, you know. And then the next moment is gone again. It's always changing because of my previous actions of what I have put in place, right? So you can perceive your body. Some days I feel very comfortable in my body, other days I'm not, right? It's all just different karmas going on. It has nothing to do with my body.
or what my body is saying about external, what it sees as external reality in terms of what it's touching, what it's smelling, what it's hearing.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Connected to that, so because it had sort of a question I had in my mind, which was when you get an emotion come up, that emotion comes from a past seed,
Mm-hmm.
and those emotions stem from like that linear line of past which haven't been resolved yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so the continual happening is just to pass the test or to move through that karmic heaviness or situation to make it, to understand it, which is all that we all come from love and we're all the same, we're equal. Okay. I don't know if this is sort of on or off, but could that be like, I've heard of something called energy storm. I don't know, which means we're all energetic beings, and there's actually kind of like weather, that weight we feel on our body could be the energy. Could that be karmic energy that we all carry, or is that just
Well, according to this school, everything you experience every moment of the day is this an emanation of that. So if you feel like you're going through some crazy storm of some kind or feeling a certain way in your body, yeah, all of it is a result of your seeds that are ripening. So then, when you're going through an emotional storm of some sort, or someone yelling at you, that's where, it's not pleasant. I'm not saying that, it's all great. It's not. It's hard when someone yells at you, but you do have the choice in that moment. Okay, do I want to create more of this or not? Like, how do I want to fill up my storehouse consciousness? You have the choice in that moment. You can just let it ride out and let the man yell at you because you've created this, and you can just kind of suck it up, even though it's unpleasant, very unpleasant, painful, all of that can happen, right? But you do have the choice. Are you going to yell back? Are you going to be nasty back? You're going to create more of that, and then that will emanate into more of it, Do you want to keep that cycle going, or do you want to change your seeds and that way change your world, right? It's a game. You can see it as a game. It's a bakjak game. You gotta get rid of all the yucky ones, and then you can have a little party when you get through one without reacting back in the way that you really want to react back, but you're not. You can have a little party. Another back check down. Yes, and you just put in nice back checks. That's all you need to do. And that's easy said, of course. Sometimes that's really hard. But receiving this teaching is very helpful because, you know, you can remind this. You can remind yourself on this when something hard is going down, right? Like, what are you doing? You do have a choice. You do.
I'm looking forward to what the Majumika think. What's extra on top of this.
Yeah, so it's very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar. Um, Okay, so your homework, it will ask you what two things does the mind only say is produced by your karmic seed. So you should be able to answer that right now. Tell me if you know. What two things does the mind only school say is produced by the karmic seed, by the bakchak? Right here. The yes, that's exactly your awareness and your eyes. Yeah, and by extension, what your eyes see.
So that comes secondary, right? What I mean, the main two are the
Yeah.
Namaste and
Yeah. That's how they present it here. By your deeds. So when you are yelling, sorry?
The deeds are in a material world.
The
deeds are expressed
But
through phenomena.
They started with a thought, though. They started with a thought form, and then they manifested into an action, which was the deed.
Yeah, it all starts in your mind, right? And then you can choose to act on that thought or not. And whether it's positive or negative, you know, all of that gets stained into, they want to put it somewhere, so they're saying this is where it goes, right there.
But so awareness. So if we can both look at the same thing together.
Yeah.
And I get it, but it's frustrating. I don't know. I seem to get. What I'm really trying to share is we both can look at the same situation, and someone can be able to have, I guess, the karma to know, to see it differently than the other person because their consciousness is in that different space.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating knowing it, but just when you're in that moment.
Yeah.
It's very difficult sometimes for two people to see it in the same.
But that's why, and neither is right or wrong, you know.
Yeah.
You have to remember that. I mean, that is your experience in the moment, and that's valid. That's what you put in there, and that's what you see. That's reality for you, right? But you know, yeah, it's hard when you're in a difficult situation to see it like that. But that's why you're here. That's why you're studying, to kind of loosen that grip of how you think things are working, right? Especially in the challenging situations.
Yeah, it does work. It really does. It's just sometimes you might be able to see it in that different way and put the seeds that are positive in that way, but it may not all change it immediately.
No, it won't change it in the moment. It won't. But you're planting seeds for the future. Yeah, if someone yells at me and I'm not yelling back, it doesn't mean they're going to stop yelling because I'm thinking, I'm not going to yell back, you know. No, they'll continue for an hour, you know, if I have the seeds for that to happen. However, it is important what's on your mind, you know, and how you react back in order to create your future. So what happens to the seeds when they produce their results? They just die, just like acorns. When an acorn moves into becoming a tree, then there's no more acorns. So that's what they say. Okay. Just have a look. Because your microroach is like a horseshoe. Your eye, your mind, looking at the boss.
to look at your eye and your mind like a horseshoe?
Your eye, your mind, seeing your boss yelling at you, you know, you can see that as a horseshoe.
What part of the horseshoe? Is it like, is the mind
I would say the mind would be the middle.
the middle at the
Yeah.
back, and then you've got these two ends?
That's how I see it. Yeah, he doesn't say that in his.
Could you draw
Teaching,
it? Sorry,
but-
how would that look?
Well,
The horseshoe.
I would like this would be like horseshoes the shape, right? So back here would be
Oh,
the consciousness, and then you know, I don't know. Doesn't really matter actually.